Hey guys, it's your boy Peter Lou, Real Wheel Deal, and today we're switching gears and we're talking about tires and how to fit them like a boss. So stay tuned because I have some really valuable information about tire fitment that may make or break your build, and I have a lot of customers coming to shop, both new and very experienced in building cars and building their builds and fitments, and this tidbit of knowledge is something that even they don't know about. Alright, so to start, there's a lot of YouTube channels, there's a lot of videos out there about tire fitment all over the web, and a lot of resources that talk to you about, basic fundamentals of tires. In my opinion, that's just a bit trivial because you can look it up. It's going to be things like the numbers of a tires worth 245 and a profile 30, then diameter like 18, let's say. Those are really easy information. They kind of lead you the wrong way down. There are good starting baseline. Then you get a little bit deeper. You learn a little bit about load rating. You might learn about data manufacture and all these other little things about the tires. It's just kind of more trivial. You can find it online. So I'm not really diving into that. I'm diving into how to become the master of tire fitment. So before we get started, if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe to stay up to date with the wheel game, and also to stay up to date with my videos that kind of teach you exactly how to get that perfect fit on your vehicle or the perfect set of wheels for your car. All right, so I'm at the shop or I'm at the track or at car meet, and you too hear people say things like, hey, I couldn't fit a 255 on there, it'll rub too much. Hey, if you want to fit a 265, you're gonna have to definitely do some pull and some fender rolling. Or some guys on the track, if I'm on a 275 out there, that's how I set the fastest lap time. Those numbers, they're kind of all over the place. That's the number I think that surprised people most, is like that's the number they use for fitment, and that's the number that people really rely on to see if a tire is going to fit or if it's going to rub or what it fits on the rim. So I'm here to tell you that those numbers are absolutely wrong and that they can actually mess you up and actually screw up your perfect build. So once you acquire your perfect set of wheels, you're going tire shopping, you're just going by numbers online or what somebody told you, that could really mess you up. This is what I'm looking for are section width and tread width. So first thing I'm going to show you guys what section width is. Section width is the very front outer wall to the inner wall of the tire in millimeters, and that can change actually depending on if you mount it on a wider wheel or a narrow wheel. It's going to flex in now, and that's going to change. The second thing you want to look out for is tread width, and tread width is actually a really important number as well, because that actually is exactly where the shoulder goes shoulder to shoulder on the tread of it. So depending on how the tire is manufactured and how it looks, the tread width on the same size tire can actually be a little bit wider or a little bit more narrower. And the tread width really defines the shoulders of the tire and if it's going to come in or out. So I normally use tread width and section width to really determine the actual width of the tire, because there's lots of changes between different makes, models, and manufacturers for that. The last important number is rim width. So you might think a 9-inch wide rim is equal to every manufacturing brand, which is not true. The rim width that we talk about when you say a 9-inch wide wheel is actually where the inner bead and the inner bead of the rim is. So on some high performance wheels, similar to wheels that I sell, Advent Volk, they have actually very thick flanges on the outside, which is not included in the rim width. So if you have a wheel that's a 9-inch and then they have a really thick flange, that could have the lip poking out a lot more in the tire and also a lot more into the barrel towards the inside of the vehicle. That's going to result in your tire not being able to protect the lip as much, and also it's going to change how it looks depending on the tire's manufacturing style on the edge there. So that actually affects you greatly as well. So now to drive my point home, I collected a lot of real world examples for you guys in front of me here, and I'm going to show you guys exactly how it can change and how wild these numbers can get. After I show you guys this, you might be like, oh man, then how am I even going to be able to calculate the exact fitment I want? Well, after we go through all the differences in real world, then I'm going to let you guys know what you can do to try and protect yourself to make sure that your fit is perfect for your tire. So first, I'm going to drive the point home right away. I have a picture here, and this is two tires exactly the same spec, 255, 35, 18. One is the Advent AD08R, which is, a pretty track heavy wheel, 200 tread wear. And then beside it, I have a Nitto 555 G2, and that's more like not as high performance of a tire. But you can see already floor stacked up. That tire is hugely different. It's way wider, even though they have the same numbers. So that means that if I put the AD08 on, your car's gonna rub, but the Nitto G2 is not gonna rub. So if you listen to someone and they say, yeah, I fit 255 no problem, and you go out and you get the AD08Rs, you're gonna rub. So that's where you can right away see the evident difference. So in the last example, we had two wildly different tire categories, one being like an ultra high performance and the G2 being more like a touring summer tire, in my opinion. But here, these are two tires I like to use on a track. This is a Nankang AR1 and this is an Advent AO52, 100 tread wear, same category of tires. And you can see there's a big difference when I stack them up. To here, I would say there's about 2 inches there in difference. So 2 inches there in difference, that could result in about ½ an inch on every tire. So even when we're speccing out, we're trying to change our offset and our width of our wheel by ½ an inch. Then you go ahead and you put your tires on. All that work you did to try and get that perfect match, it's gonna be messed up by choosing the wrong tire. So this kind of drives the point home that even in the same category of tires, 100 tread wear, the sizes vary between manufacturer and model as well. The next example I have is what if it's exact same make and model, but a different profile on the tire. So this one, I only have a picture of it, but in one picture, I have a 295 3019, and the other one, I have a 295 3519. And those are both the exact same model, Pilot Sport 4S, and they're both on 19/11 wide wheels, one being a T37 Ultra and one being an Advent GT Beyond, which are very similar rim width if you actually take the flanges into account. And you can see here, same make, same model, just a little bit different in profile, greatly changes how much the stretch looks on that tire. And now the last one to drive it home, what if it's the same manufacturer but a different generation? This is a Pilot Super Sport versus a 4S. So everyone knows the Sport 4S is the successor to the Pilot Super Sport, but actually the fitment between them is wildly different as well. So these are both 295, 35, 19, and the front is the newer one, the Pilot Sport 4S, and the back is a Pilot Super Sport. So you can see that the stretch looks very different, and where the shoulder meets the outside of the wheel looks completely different. And this is just a difference between generation. So those are the two the same size, but from going from the old generation to new one, it actually got reduced by 0.4 inches, which is about 10 millimeters. So that's the difference what they say on paper, going from a 235 to a 245 or a 255 to a 265. Just between those exact same size going to a different generation, they're not even consistent as well. The next example I have is different rim widths. So this is a 17/9 wheel, and I have a 235, 45, 17, 80/08 on it. So this is 235 wide, they say, on a 9-inch wide wheel. Here I actually have a Firestone Indy 500, and this is a 245, 40/17. So technically this tire should be wider than this tire. The other thing is this is a S2000 OEM rear wheel. This is 8.5 wide. So this wheel is half an inch narrower than this wheel, and this tire is supposed to be 10 millimeters wider than this tire. So essentially I have a smaller tire on a wider wheel. If you look on the edges here, you can see it looks really different. There's like a little bit of a bend here for the stretch, but you can see I have very ample lip protection here, and the shoulder goes in a bit. This is supposed to have a wider shoulder. You can see here, my rim is actually protruding out of the tire, so this actually has way less lip protection. So I would say that this runs a bit narrower if it's a 245, and this runs a bit wider, 235, because this is a wider wheel. So this is a big difference between the manufacturers and make. So now that we've gone across all those real life examples, you're probably like, man, if it's all completely out the window, how can I actually tell? Well, first thing is the widths don't like go out the window 100%. You still use them as a rule of thumb. They kind of still stay within. So if you look at a manufacturer, obviously 215 is going to be narrower than like a 245, which is narrower than like a 275. Once you get only around that, you really got to go down, deep dive and look at the numbers. So my recommendation to you is 3 solutions. So first way, you go on the forums, and if your car is very popular, pretty easy, you just look for a fit or finish of the exact make and model of the tire you have on your vehicle, and then you once again reproduce that on your car. Then you're gonna get the exact fitment because somebody's tested that exact make, model, and number on their vehicle. The second way, somebody who already has the make, model, and fitment on their car for a tire, and you want a different tire, you go on that tire's manufacturing site and you check whether the section width, tread width, and width compare closely and similarly to that other tire. Then you can see if it's going to run wider or narrower than the tire that you already have found in the forums. So there's varying ways to find that information. So here I'm going to go to Yokohama's site, and you see I'm looking, I go to tire spec and I scroll down and I actually have a chart here specifying all the sizes of that tire and also what the section widths are. Here I'm also going to Hankook's site. They don't have it directly on site, but have a tire fitment guide that's a PDF. So I download that to look up the RS4, and I see here that they have the exact specs when I scroll to that PDF. So every manufacturer lists their specs in a different format, so you might have to search around for them, but it's very important to get those section widths and tread width numbers. The third way, if you have an existing tire already on your aftermarket wheel, then that's pretty easy. You just compare the spec information on your current tire to the spec information of the desirable tire you want, and you already have the tire and wheel on your car, so you just kind of know like, hey, it's going to be a little bit wider or a little bit more narrower. Then you can kind of extrapolate from there. So that kind of concludes my video on tire fitment. Fortunately, I just kind of demonstrated you guys a lot of problems, and the solutions I gave you, they're still kind of a bit ambiguous because you have to really do your own research, finding out the actual width of the tire. But at least now you guys know, if you trust just those numbers on the outside of the sidewall, you know, that's not really the complete story for fitment. So that's why sometimes you look around and you see, man, why do I have the same tire and it doesn't fit as good as the other guy? Well, here's our answer. Provide you guys some real world examples. So now it's the case closed. And now you know that information and you can pass it on to your friends. And hopefully we can just spread this information around so that all enthusiasts, new or old, have this information at hand and really know how to fit their tires. So I hope that video helps. If you didn't know that information, I hope it really blew your mind, and I hope the real world examples really helped you guys out. I've had a lot of experience. I fit a lot of wheels and tires on a lot of builds, and I found that this number and these calculations really kind of set you apart from having an experienced tire shop and wheel shop putting together your build versus somebody who really isn't into it and really doesn't know what the difference is. But in this way, not only do you get the perfect wheel, which you can get from us, but also we exactly spec out the tire to match your fitment that you need. So like I always say, knowledge is power, spread the wealth. So make sure you guys hit subscribe, Comment below, let me know if you knew this or you didn't know this. And hey, if you knew this information already, you know, hopefully I didn't waste your time because I had the real world examples. And also if you knew it, congratulations, you're already a tire fitment master. So make sure you guys watch more of my videos and you know, we're on this journey together. So I'll catch you guys next time, okay?